Hello everybody, we're back once again. We're back from the holidays. I hope that everyone had a Merry Christmas, and this is going to be the start of a brand new year. We're in 2023 now. Isn't that crazy to think about? I made it through the cold weather too. We had a cold spell here in the south and got down to 4 degrees. Made it through that, made it through the traveling. I hope everybody was as lucky as I was this Christmas holiday season. I work for Golf Cart Garage, by the way. I'm Tim. Some of you may know that already. And we are back on schedule to start talking about golf carts again twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're going to have some people interacting in the live chat, I hope. I'm going to have some regular questions I'm going to go over today. You can also, I'm a member of the Gearheads on Demand service that we offer at Golf Cart Garage. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in this video. That's a service that we offer where you can actually schedule an appointment to speak with me one-on-one about your golf cart issues. If you think you need to, if you need some help or some guidance in a specific direction, might be able to help you out, may be able to save you some money. I've probably seen it before. I owned and operated a golf cart shop for many years, and that's why I'm here, just to help people out, try to save them some money. So let's get started with the questions. This is Tuesday, January 3rd right now, so let's get started. Question number one. But since the garage is open, let's get started. Power Drive 3 charger problem. Upon charging, I do hear a click when I plug the receptacle into the cart. However, the meter needle jumps about 1/4 of an inch and then drops back to 0. My neighbor's charger works fine on my cart. What is causing this issue? In addition, I have new batteries. Well, I tell you with this, I'm glad that you've already isolated the problem as being with your charger and not your cart by getting your neighbor's charger. It works fine. Well, in a charger, in a Power Drive 3, most likely it's going to be it's going to be one of two things. Most likely, it's either going to be your diodes. In your particular charger, I think it's called a diode/rectifier. That can cause some problems. That can cause some half power issues, or it's going to be your circuit board, that's causing your charger to shut off. So it's going to be one of those. And usually the diode, you can test the diodes if you know how to do a diode test. You can do that with a regular volt ohm meter. You can put it on diode setting and test it with that. Disconnect all the wires off of it. Look up diode, how to test for diode setting. And you should be able to figure that out. But most of the time when those diodes/rectifiers go out, they'll literally be busted. They'll be damaged because they usually just explode or crack. So you might just do a visual inspection on that first. It could be your main computer board in your charger too. That would be my most likely, the two things that I would be looking at right there. It's not really a good test for the main computer board. So you'd kind of be taking a guess there, but wouldn't hurt. The computer board's the expensive one. The diode/rectifier is not as expensive. So you could go with the least expensive thing first if you wanted to, the diode thing, replace that, and then go to the computer board next. Let's see, Craig is in YouTube. What's up, Craig? Happy New Year, man. Appreciate you being here. Hope you had a good Christmas and hope you have a blessed New Year. Question number 2. Winter charging for electric golf cart. I have a used Club Car Precedent I purchased a couple of years ago. I keep it stored in a garage here in northern Colorado. On the charger whenever it is not in use. Oh, keep it on the charger when it's not in use. I do note a foul odor from charging. Perhaps it's hydrogen sulfide gas. I assume that is normal. Yes, I've talked about that before. That is normal, especially toward the end of the charge cycle. Toward the end of the charge cycle, before the charger gets ready to shut off, is when the most voltage is going through the batteries. You've got like up to 60 volts is going through there. You may even hear your water bubbling a little bit. That's actually all normal. And I've said this before. You can imagine what it's. You just think about that's one car in your garage. Well, think about how that smell is when you amplify that at a golf course. Like when all the golf carts get pulled back into the cart room or the cart barn, you could have 55 to 100 golf carts in there. all on charge with lead acid batteries, you know, it very it's an accident waiting to happen is what it is, because it's amazing that it doesn't happen more often. It has happened, you know, but it's just amazing it doesn't happen more often than it does. So yes, that is normal. That's why we've been, over the years, that they've been constantly trying to come up with an alternative, and that's why lithium is so popular now. Even though the price is more expensive, you don't have these kind of issues with lithium. You have other issues, but not these types. Number 3. I have a rear view camera in the rear view mirror that is not working properly. The camera initially presents a good picture and then within seconds turns blue, green, or red and pixelated. Worked great until they sent it in for a replacement of cart batteries and hasn't worked right since. I suspect that when replacing the batteries they may have shorted the module for the camera somehow, or bad connection. I would suspect you're correct, that they did something in the battery change, in the battery job. See, that camera is most likely going to be a 12-volt accessory, and you know they changed your batteries. Well, that's why it's always a good idea to take pictures. I mean, I don't know how many times I've actually had to say this. In fact, that's going to be the tip for the day. I'll do the tip at the end of the movie, but it has end of the episode, but it has something to do with taking pictures before you do a battery job. Because especially if everything's working correctly, you know, you want to take pictures because you want to make sure everything goes back the way that it did. And everybody's got a camera on their phone now. So anyway, I suspect that they either hooked that camera when they did your battery job. They either, depending on where that camera was getting powered, they probably hooked the camera power wire to the wrong battery, and now the camera might be getting the incorrect voltage. You know, it's going to be a 12-volt accessory camera. So it might be getting too high of a voltage. They may have it set hooked to the wrong battery, or they didn't hook it back to your voltage reducer and they've got it hooked across the entire pack. I'm not sure where your particular case your camera is wired, but it's going to be a 12-volt accessory, that camera. So you're correct. I think you're correct in assuming that they did something, you know, during the battery job. They've got it hooked to the wrong. It's going to be a voltage issue, is what I think. Let me check over here on. It looks like we're good there. Number 4 is where we're at. 2013 Club Car Precedent golf cart. I recently purchased a 6-inch lift and installed 25-inch tires. Although it works great on level ground, it has no uphill power. Now that's understandable so far, because you put 25-inch tires on it, and so that changed your gear ratio. I use it primarily at campgrounds that I travel to with my RV. There are many that have steep hills. After reading quite a few articles, I'm confused as what would be the proper procedure to correct the issue. I see that there are high torque electric motors and are replacing or changing gear ratio in the golf cart. I'm not sure what the gear ratio is that the golf cart has at this time, but I understand there are 6-to-1 or 8-to-1 gear ratios. Can you assist me by directing me to the proper parts or purchase to correct this issue? Thank you. Alright, well, let's start with what is your gear ratio in your cart right now. If your cart is completely stocked, your gear ratio is approximately 12.44 to 1. Okay? And if you notice, because you mentioned that there are 8-to-1s and there are 6-to-1s, but that is the wrong direction that you need to go in order to correct your problem. The 8-to-1s is an even higher gear ratio than yours. I know the number's lower, but that's as the numbers go down, the speed of the gears is higher. Therefore, you would lose more torque. You'd have more flat ground speed. But 6-to-1s is the highest. 8-to-1s is the next to highest, and then yours is 12.44 to 1. So in order to compensate for your lack of hill climbing ability, the way people compensate is they go to high torque motors. You've already got the, you know, they used to make 15-to-1s. I'm not sure if they still do, but I've never really seen that necessary. I don't think it's necessary to go to 15-to-1s on 25s, on 25-inch tires. It might be necessary to go to an extremely high torque controller and a high torque motor. You know, that may be all you need to do in order to compensate for the issue. Now, you shorten your tire size. It's going to help a little bit too. You shorten the height of your tire, because the taller you go on your tire, you're doing the same thing as going to its higher gear ratios. But what you want is a lower gear ratio. And I don't even know if, like I said, I don't know if they make 15s anymore, but be a high torque motor, big fat high amp controller, and that should compensate for your hill climbing ability now that you're missing. Let's see, YouTube, we got 𝗂𝘁𝘆𝗆. What's up, 𝗂𝘁𝘆𝗆? Hi Tim, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, man. And I got Ab in the chat. Thank you for that bit about lithium. Good to know. No problem, Ab. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Let's see. Stock is 412.44. Okay, so we're on number 5 where we're at right now. Batteries are holding a charge. When I push the pedal to the metal, it stutters and hesitates. Tried mashing the accelerator 20 plus times. It also stutters in reverse when batteries are not at a full charge. They appear to hold a charge when not in use. Any ideas? It seems to hesitate, stutter / pulse when you floor it. If I ease into the accelerator pedal, it goes all right. Number 5. Well, I can tell you this. Everything that you described there is a telltale sign of a battery issue. You know what I mean? Easing into the pedal and it goes okay, but if you floor it, it stutters. That's a battery dropping out, or you got a cable that's got a loose connection. Should be an obvious spot on your batteries that you could find. The easiest way to figure this out is check your batteries during the stutter. Like, take your voltmeter, hook it to one of your batteries, just one of them, take off and watch your voltmeter and make it stutter. Make the cart stutter and watch your voltmeter and see how far that battery drops down, the voltage drops down. Then go to the next battery, do the same thing, make it stutter, and look at the voltmeter while it's stuttering. And you should find one that drops down way more than the other ones. That's going to be the cause of the stutter. It's going to be the one that drops down way more than the others. If you don't find one that's dropping down way more than the others, then go back to the cable thing that I was talking about. It could be something like that. Okay. Number 6 is where we're at. Replacing T1275 Trojans every 3 to 4 years. That's about right. I mean, my golf cart shop was in East Texas, and I've always East Texas is kind of like Florida, and it's a 365-day-a-year golf cart usage area. You know, there's really no downtime, and T1275s were getting anywhere between 3 to 4 years in East Texas, and that's, you know, being used every day. You got to understand, like, that would be in East Texas or in the South, the amount of time during the year that you can use your golf cart is greatly different than it is if you were in New York or in Montana or up north. It's a big difference in the amount of time that golf carts are being used. So if you use them a lot, T1275s, we're really only getting about 3 to 4, and if you got 4, you're lucky. It says, and your question is, wouldn't it be better to replace it with lithium 48? They advertise 11-year warranty and lightweight. Yes, it would be better. It's always better to go lithium if you can. I mean, if you can afford to go lithium, there's not really hardly any downsides to going lithium, except for cost, because they are more expensive still than lead acid. You know, they're way more reasonable than they used to be. They used to be outrageous. I mean, you think they're outrageous now. If you look, you should have seen them about 5 years ago. Then you could still get them 5 years ago, even longer. You could get them 6, 7 years ago. But it would have cost you twice as much as it's even costing you now in order to get a set of golf cart lithiums. So they are more competitive now. And the only other downside is that we don't have, it says it's got the 11-year warranty. That's great, and if they work out, that's awesome. We don't have 11 years of long-term data. Like we do on lead acid. We know exactly when you get into a brand new set of Trojan lead acid. We can pretty much tell you with 99% certainty, if you take care of them, how long they're going to last before they start giving you trouble. Well, we don't have all that long-term data in on lithium yet, but it's getting longer every day, getting better every day. And so far, over the last few years that I've been talking to customers about their lithium conversions, they just love it. Everybody loves it. They're doing awesome. Let's see, Mason Grove. What's up, Mason Grove? Happy New Year from Mason in Minnesota. Weather better today than last time we talked. 32 degrees and freezing rain. Man, well, I made it through. I don't know if you saw when I was talking through it at the beginning of the episode, Mason, but I made it through that 4-degree stint. I had a couple of water pipes freeze in my house, but luckily I had no damage. I got them thawed out and got back going, but 4 degrees. I don't know if I've ever seen that in my life, but anyway, it was something else. Let's see. Number 7. Working on a 48-volt club car. Replace the drive motor and controller, and still a no-go. Trying to find a test plan for the controller. Well, the test for the controller would vary. I would need more information on your electrical system. I need to know if we're talking about does your car have a run tow switch? That would be my first question, because then that would tell me that it is a shunt wound electrical system rather than a series wound electrical system, and I would approach it different. I would also want to know, does the solenoid click? Does the car, I understand the car is a no-go, but when you hit the accelerator pedal, does the solenoid click? And if the solenoid doesn't click when you touch the accelerator pedal, then I would approach it one way. If it was a series wound car, I'd be looking at the activation circuit that activates the solenoid. If it was a shunt wound car with a run tow switch, then it could possibly be your controller. So I'd have to know a little bit more depending on, and that would help me decide on which way to approach it. Let's see here. I recently purchased a 96 48-volt electric Club Car DS toward the end of the charging cycle. As the current drops to just a couple of amps, so far normal, the charger output starts to fluctuate rapidly and wildly to the point you can actually hear the amp meter and of course see the needle rattling back and forth. Okay, that is not normal. Battery voltage while it's doing this is about 58.7. The batteries are all 2022 Trojan 8-volt TH75s, hardly used, and the electrolyte level is good. All batteries have the same voltage within 0.02 volts when charged. Is this behavior normal for the Club Car, or is it defective? It is not normal. No, you've got something that's defective. Now, what's funny is that your battery voltage levels that you're stating there, they actually look normal. That's about right toward the end of the charge cycle. 58 point something up to even 60 would be right around the end of the charge cycle where your charger's getting ready to shut off. So all that sounds normal. It's just the rattling and the fluctuation that is not normal. So it's going to be one of two things. It's either going to be your board inside your charger's freaking out, your main electronic board, depending on if you have a solid state charger, or if you have the old transformer type charger. I don't know. Did you say that? Did you tell me which one of those it was? 1996. Okay, yeah, you got an old charger. So you got the old transformer type charger. So yeah, your board could be freaking out once the voltages get to where they're supposed to be and causing that to happen, or it could be your OBC. Your OBC's, at the end of the charge cycle, it has an issue. So the best thing to do would be eliminate that first. So try another Club Car charger on your car and see if it does the exact same thing. If it does, then it's going to be your OBC. If it does not, then we're going to go replace the board and the charger. That's how I would approach that problem. Let me see here. Number 9. I just bought a used Club Car, which was made in 1994. The brake works, but the parking brake does not hold. What needs to be replaced, and are the parts available? Yeah, the parts are available for that. The parking brake, it's got a thing on it. It's called a pawl, actually. It's called a parking brake pawl, and it's got little groove. If you'll look at it, you know how the parking brake. You'll look at your pedal when you press it. You'll see how it works, because the little pawl goes down and it goes around metal, and it's got several little notches that it clicks on, and that holds your brake down. And then you push the accelerator pedal, and it unlocks that linkage. So yeah, they're still available for your car. But also you need to, when you do look back there, you'll see that parking brake pawl is connected to a rod that goes onto a ball joint up at the top of where the parking brake is activated, and that has a little adjustment to it. You can screw in and out of that ball joint, lengthening and shortening that rod, causing that pawl to do different. And you know, if the teeth aren't completely broke off of the pawl, then you might just need to adjust that rod a little bit. And it's right behind. You do this from the top side. This is not from the underside of the car. This is from the top side. You take that off of the ball joint. You look at the parking brake, you know, behind it, and you'll see where it's connected to a ball joint. You remove that off the ball joint and then unscrew it to lengthen the rod, and then screw it down to shorten the rod. And see if that helps. And then, you know, if you look at the brake pawl and the teeth aren't broken off. Okay, let's see. We got one more regular question. Don't have any questions on Facebook. Number 10. I'm installing lithium batteries in my 1999 48-volt club car. Do I need to bypass the OBC? Also, do I need to do anything else to modify the car or run on lithium? Would like to install two 48-volt lithium batteries. I think what you're saying there is you want to install two 48-volt lithium batteries in parallel, and that would double the amperage, the amp hour of whatever the single 48-volt lithium battery is. So, do I need to bypass the OBC? You're going to install lithium batteries. Okay, my question is, how are you planning on charging this golf cart? Because most lithium companies, like I've said this before, most lithium companies that sell batteries, they want you to use their charger. Okay? If you're going to use their charger, their lithium charger, as an on-the-shelf charger, and you're going to plug it into your cart like you normally would, then the answer to your question would be yes. You do need to bypass the OBC. All right. If you're going to use their charger and you're going to wire it just directly to the batteries, like one ring terminal onto the positive of battery number 1 and the black ring terminal onto the negative of the battery number 6, then no, you do not have to bypass the OBC. You can just charge your batteries that way, and then most likely you would be carrying that charger around with you all the time. Because the lithium chargers that I've seen for the different manufacturers, they just run an extension cord and plug it in. That's how a lot of people are doing it. But if you plan to use it as an on-the-shelf charger and you're going to go through your receptacle that you normally go through, then you do have to bypass the OBC, because that receptacle goes through the OBC. I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Let's see here. Look at there, Tim giveaways. Get 5% off any parts you order at golfcartgarage.com. Plug in, use code TIM6 at checkout. And it says here, the code expires on January the 8th. See that where it says 2022? That's not actually true. It's January 8th, 2023. We will have that fixed next time that you see me, but it says 2022 there. It can't get used to putting 2023 on anything yet. It usually takes a week or two, you know, and we're only 3 days into it right now, so it's understandable that that's not correct right there. But January 8th, you've got until January 8th to use that coupon code at checkout at Golf Cart Garage. Get 5% off any order. Okay, let's see. Let's see, this takes me to, that's all the regularly scheduled questions. Let me check over here. We're good there. That brings me to this episode's tip. I've probably said this before, and I may have even said it in this episode, but I'm going to keep saying it because I keep talking to customers over and over again that make this mistake. A lot of customers, they say, "Oh, I'm just going to do my own battery job. You know, I'm going to do my batteries myself. I'm not going to take it to the golf cart shop and let them do it because I don't trust them for whatever reason or another. Or I'm not going to let my mechanic do it. I'm going to do it myself." Well, that's fine. It's not that difficult, but there's just a few important things that you need to take under consideration. and one of them is to take pictures first. Before you disconnect any wires, take pictures. If your car has a run tow switch, put it in tow. But take pictures of your entire battery compartment before you disconnect anything. That tip will help you tremendously next time you do your battery job. You won't end up on a phone call with me trying to figure out what's wrong with your car if you'll take pictures. That lessens the chance greatly. All right, that was it for me. I will see everybody on Thursday. Remember, Tim Tuesday, Thursday. If you're interested in speaking with me or scheduling an appointment with me, click the link in the description. That will take you to the Gearheads On Demand page where you can schedule with me. It'll just pick a time that's convenient for you. You can schedule a video session with me if you think I need to see something. I can use your phone and use your camera in your phone, and I can see what you're pointing at. If you think you just need to speak with me about a golf cart related issue, then that's fine also. I might be able to help you with that. But anyway, click the link in the description. Gearheads On Demand. Schedule something with me. I'll be there. All right. I'll see everybody Thursday. Golf Cart Garage is now closed.